Did somebody really find an alien-human hybrid in a box? Astronaut theorists say yes. The story goes, in 1948, a UFO crash landed in Roswell, New Mexico. A nearby rancher witnessed it and quickly called the authorities. No sooner did the Air Force show up and begin collecting evidence. They collected these relics in 86 boxes. Apparently, our missing box, box number 24, was misplaced along the way to what is now known as Area 51. They never recovered the missing box, until one day a citizen stumbled upon it in the township archives. Naturally, she opened the box and, much to her surprise, an alien-human hybrid with a robotic-like uniform on. As you can see, the corpse was well kept over the years. The detail is impeccable. But of course, after much research, I found that the authorities dubbed it an art project, done by a student who used a Barbie doll for the corpse. I'm not buying. What about you? Do you believe? Comment below. Megalodon is back. Onlookers were baffled as they witnessed the biggest shark ever caught on camera. The unidentifiable species had scientists stumped. Is this really the infamous Megalodon shark? Many believe yes, as it measured of upwards of 55 feet. It is currently believed the Megalodon went extinct due to increasing temperature of ocean waters. But were scientists wrong? Could this be the Megalodon shark? The sheer size of the beast would point to yes. 55 feet is much larger than its cousin, the great white shark. It is said Megalodon existed 16 million years ago in the prehistoric era, along with dinosaurs and even bigger ocean dwellers. It's said its teeth measured up to 7 to 8 inches in length, and more rows of them for shredding much larger prey. So what do you think? Is this the first Megalodon caught on camera? A deep-sea vessel caught this on film while exploring one of our vast oceans near Greenland in 2015. Wow, did you see that? It looked like some sort of ocean-dwelling humanoid with fish-like characteristics. Notice its webbed hands, big black eyes, and fish-like tail. This is probably some of the most compelling footage ever caught on camera. Stunned, the explorers quickly surfaced and began reviewing the footage, not believing what they saw. A mermaid, but this one sure didn't look like Ariel. But we as humans tend to glamorize legends to make them more appealing to the masses. Sailors and ocean goers alike have been claiming their existence since the beginning of time. This and other evidence shows that these tales could be true. But we always gotta be skeptic. What do you believe? Do you believe they caught a mermaid on camera? A deep-sea
could be an asteroid hitting the Earth. It could be a new virus, climate change, nuclear war, artificial intelligence gone rogue. We can, and must, use our curiosity and intelligence to look to the stars. We must do it now before humanity is overtaken by some disaster that we can neither anticipate nor control. Could be an asteroid hitting the Earth. It could be a new virus.
In '98, Russian, French, and American expeditionists pulled a 2-mile-long core out of the surface of Antarctica. After 30 years of drilling, they finally met their mark to get to what is known as Lake Bozdog. Studies confirmed that the O2 content around the cavern of Lake Bozdog was 20 times that of anywhere on the Earth's surface, providing unusual conditions for new evolutionary species. The expedition team knew something was wrong when, as soon as they punched into the cavern, their comms shut off. With radio silent, they continued on. They got to the lake's ice shores and quickly felt eerie. But regardless of any feelings they had, the scientists pressed on to do what they came there to do. They dove into the lake and quickly began taking samples. Frantically, their colleagues at the surface tried to reach them to no avail, not realizing the team was already fighting for their lives. Shortly after he began collecting samples, a Russian scientist noticed one of his colleagues swimming up to him. As hairs raised on his neck, he realized it was too late. His colleagues had to watch as a creature tore him limb from limb, consuming every piece. The fans have spoken. This is the legend of Lake Vostok Part 2. February of 2012, a U.S. and Russian-based Arctic team broke through the last 50 feet of ice to get to Lake Vostok, 2 miles below Arctic surface. As soon as they broke through the cavern wall, all comms went out. Regardless, the team pressed on, eager to collect new species. When on their first dive, one Russian scientist was attacked by what is referenced as specimen number 46B. Day one in the water, they watched as their colleague got ripped apart limb from limb, the octopus chewing each piece with its massive beak. It was at this moment scientists realized they were in big trouble. 46B looked like a descendant of the octopus, except it had 14 legs and was highly intelligent, comparatively as smart as the average person. It was such an efficient predator it could virtually mimic its prey. So with the only exit being back through the lake, the scientists knew what they had to do. On day 2, they attempted their first escape. Not long after they dove, a shadowy figure began approaching from the right, and out of nowhere a diver stopped swimming. Like for Part 3. The Legend of Lake Vostok Part 3. It's day 2 in the cavern and the team's attempting to make their escape back through the water. They're making good pace when all of a sudden one of the divers stopped. The team continued on when one of the females noticed he was gone. Being the closest, she began swimming back towards him. By this time, the rest of the team realized what was happening. With the stopped diver still hypnotized, the scientists noticed a large dark figure approaching the man and began frantically signaling. As feared, it was specimen 46B, coming back for another meal. While cloaked, the team unknowingly swam by as 46 released a toxin, the clear toxin paralyzing its prey. The female diver who was closest break. The Legend of Lake Vostok Part 4. After a female scientist cut off its leg, the beast retreated. Knowing they didn't have much time, the team went back to shore. That night, they came up with a new strategy. They were going to go on the offense. Had we not had PhDs, said one scientist, I don't think we would have outsmarted the beast. After coming up with a plan, they all turned to bed. As they were sleeping, the water began to ripple. It couldn't have been the beast, it was too small. Then, one of its tentacles slowly slithered onto shore. Yes, it is highly possible. Octopuses today have this ability, as they have neurotransmitters throughout each tentacle, which is essentially its own brain. As they slept, the tentacle went around checking each person, looking for one in particular, the female scientist who cut him off. The next morning, the team woke up, and she was dead. Rather than kill the rest, the beast only killed her, as if taunting them all. The beast got his revenge. I love y'all, Part 5. Lake Vostok Part 5. They started with 8, now they were 5. The team had had enough. They were going to trap this beast. And as morbid as it sounds, now they had bait, knowing the beast would come back for the female body. After getting set up, they pushed the female body into the water. Like clockwork, the beast heard the vibrations. Knowing the beast liked to attack from below and in the dark, the scientists set up a clear-like net that was weighted and big enough to catch the 30-foot beast. Just as anticipated, 46 took the bait. They successfully captured the alien-like creature. As it was struggling, 46B let out a blood-curdling scream while staring the scientists in the eyes. The team was ecstatic. They hooked the netting to the winch and pulled it up. After they were all out, they plugged the hole and never talked about the incident again until now. Instead of coming back heroes, Putin called them liars. They couldn't believe it. Part 6. Alright, so wrapping it up, this is what happened. When the team got back to Russia, they presented Vladimir Putin with the beast. Thinking they were about to be up for the Nobel Prize, Putin rained on their parade quick. He basically called them liars to the media and told them never to speak of it again, or the former KGB member will do what he has to do. And that's why the scientists came out with the story, which many people still today don't believe. But they figure that Putin, what he wants to do is weaponize it, or create some sort of super soldier out of it. See, some octopi lay up to 200,000 eggs per batch. Could you imagine 200,000 46Bs? Especially if they're intelligent enough to train, could be something lethal. But if so, they haven't used them yet. Thank y'all for enjoying my stories. There's more coming soon, including some without a doubt true stories. Hope y'all enjoyed. Is the United States democracy poised for collapse? Looking all the way back to ancient Egypt, the data shows that the strongest of empires generally lasted only about 250 years. That's not looking good for us, folks. Notice, calculator. It starts with the current year, 2020, then subtract 1775, the beginning of the Revolutionary War. Based on these numbers, we got till about 2026. As you can see by the table below, empires tended to last only 250 years. This is consistent worldwide. The most recent being this Demon's Empire, compliments of America. But it's not looking so good anymore. With COVID and lack of unity, not good. Pause and read this. I'm not proud to say it, but the United States fits the timeline. Throughout history, as empires thrived, people began wanting in excess, eventually becoming complacent and lazy, resulting in socialism. Then the collapse comes. Alright, so this is unlike any film I've ever seen of Bigfoot. Notice he is just kind of walking nonchalantly as he stops to turn around. Almost as if he heard the camera adjusting or if he felt something was observing him. He strikes that pose, kind of doesn't really seem too startled, just kind of checks it out and continues walking off. Now, what makes this video credible is the fact that the Washington State Road Commission actually put up this camera to do a study on wear and tear of the roads. It is in black and white. What's special about this video is you can actually see his extremities. You can see his arms and legs very well. Generally, pictures are kind of watered down of Bigfoot, except this one's the best I've seen. So last week, my buddy came over who collects rocks, and he had this crystal. He claimed he found it a long time ago by Lake Michigan,